For this radio plate, I tried these from China or whatever these ones, kind of holders, but they failed completely. Well, these ones look that they're made very well, but when you put them in place against this plate, it wouldn't go straight. So there was parts in it that are not supposed to be in the real design. There's like in the corner, there's some piece should be cut out and so on. So I decided like, okay, I'm not bothering with these. So the same was with everywhere else, that they didn't really fit well into this one. So what I've learned so far from all the parts which are non-Kyosho, which I bought, forget them. Easy to use Kyosho parts. I mean, they are a lot more expensive. I mean, those are like few euros. What's the two of these? Kyosho equivalent, much more expensive. I don't have those. I couldn't get those from anywhere. But from like point of view of strength anyway, this is a carbon plate on top. So I don't believe it really matters in this one. Strength-wise, and since this is plastic, black, I would rather have this made from aluminum. But since this is plastic, I was thinking, okay, I'm going to use the Kyoshos, which came with the kit. They fit perfectly. No surprise there. Fit perfectly. No surprise there. But then I got the carbon plate, which is a Kyosho accessory. I already attached the battery holder and some knobs and bits there. But surprise enough, when placing this one, it didn't fit. It didn't fit. And I was thinking, okay, is it just a problem in this one? I took with this one too. Well, they said you need to file it around a bit and so on. Definitely, yeah, even this one doesn't perfectly fit. Needs a bit of tuning. Well, this is the original one. This is the Kyosho upgrade one. So, okay, I adjusted it a bit and needed to adjust quite a bit in different places. Sealed the edges so they don't start to fray. Yeah, I'm a bit surprised. Like, I mean, what's so big? I think the big problem here is that certain cast parts, like this one here, the plastic part here, and the plastic part for the rear differential, these are, they have some variance in the dimensions and in the tolerances, how they're manufactured. So they're not, I think, to the specs of accuracy. I noticed it elsewhere too, compared to the metal parts, which are really perfectly made, most of them. Well, metal parts I think are perfectly made. There's some idiosyncrasies in how it was designed, but otherwise perfect. But I think if this was made from cast or metal and adjusted better, it would make this more uniform, and this adjustment, and therefore make this more accurate. So I wonder if they just put more stuff in certain parts so that you can file them away and make it work. Well, that's what I did. I mean, I don't see this mentioned anywhere being done. I mean, everyone is talking about when you assemble RC cars, other than Kyosho, that you need to file and fiddle and try to adjust and everything. As an engineer, I mean, I have a background in mechanical and other fields of engineering too. So, but from mechanical engineering point of view, I don't see the need why they had to do them, or why these different manufacturers have to do them so, to be honest, is it badly? I mean, is it the cost? I doubt it. I think it could be just designed in a way to be cost effective and still work assembly. I mean, it's not impossible. So I struggle to understand sometimes why they have these problems. Why so much fiddling? It just feels a bit weird. Why they cannot do it? I mean, it's not. It requires a skill of its own to design and do it, but some of this stuff is also here, which is just seems a bit. I know it's 1980s design, but the fact that some is done to perfection and some not, so I don't know. Like some parts of this one was done very accurately, holds everything, no problem. And certain parts was not, so maybe that was by design that people can adjust it themselves. But then one just starts to wonder, shouldn't you do here something that people wouldn't need to do this? It just goes in place. Well, I don't know. Difficult to fathom the ideas of the engineers, of these designers of these devices. The plate is in place. Radio plate or whatever it's called. Opened the suspension package, started doing the shocks. Basically shock absorbers. Nice golden plated, or I mean anodized, I guess. Shock cylinders. Here's the pistons, piston rods, and I mean most of it was easy to assemble. These lock rings, really annoying. I mean, I should have a better tool for doing this. I guess I have to buy one if I want to do more of this in the future. Having this, since these ends here are metal, then these are plastic, was a bit like, couldn't them, okay, well, since they're attached anyway to metal, like whatever it's, these ones. Oh, actually are they? Wait. I'm not, I think they are. So anyway. I mean, if it works, these simple plastic parts, fine. We will see. Yeah. And I still don't quite get it. I mean, I made this, I think this is a device for tightening there, as it's shown in the picture over there. But why did it come with two? I don't like this piece too. I mean, is it just that they do, because some of these parts you need more than what's in this one. But maybe they're spares, some of these. They just put two of the same mold there. Yeah, I guess cheaper to do one thing. One of these, I think people call these trees or whatever. Yeah, and did the tires according to instructions in the web. I mean, first part was easy. Gluing, not easy. I mean, I got this kind of rather expensive, but seems to be good one. Still liquid, hasn't solidified. Cyano-accurate glue. And then when it's supposed to put it, some people say you need to bend it and put bead inside and so on. Well, yeah, I did. It's not easy to make it clean and nice. So definitely need some practice with it. I mean, yeah, these ones. That glue came with a kind of a needle thing. I thought it would be good. And like they recommend use a needle, that would have definitely been easier and cleaner to work with, but then suddenly, as you can see there, the needle fell off. Yeah, so I mean, I think the problem is that there should be like an online list of recommended tools for people making RC. I mean, I have a massive amount of tools for all, which I've gathered during decades for all kind of things, but there's always something special you notice because it's a small size or that specific tool is good for assembling RC cars. So it would be nice to have someone professional make a list. What you really should have to make it easy. Not just say, yeah, just use those tools, don't waste money. No, I learned in my profession, and to do proper job, you need proper tools. Well, yeah, it doesn't matter so much. I mean, I'll drive with these. These are quite soft. I think I will buy different tires for more of my driving with this one. And I kind of don't like the way these look, but and anyway, I ordered online metal ones, metal rims, which I was planning to make golden ones, put on this one. So let's see how they will look. But they are still on the way in the mail. So yeah, tires. So I lubricated now the O-rings. There's two of them in each of the pistons, and they go into the end of the cylinder cap, so to speak. And there's some additional stuff. I also made from a cardboard box a holder for this. I just stick holes with my scissors, and I put this into the hole so that they stay upright. for the filling. And according to some instruction online, I'm filling them and then I'm letting them settle for a while and then continue assembling it according to instructions. I don't know, some people say you should have them pistons in a fixed position when you start doing that, but I mean, this one just said shove it to the bottom and tighten. Okay, I will do that. Meanwhile, late hours. Okay, so I put shocks in place. I put the radio board in place. I put the Le Mans-esque in place. It's a very beautiful device. That's just difficult because, I mean, Kyosho recommends this one, but they don't anywhere mention which way around to install, exactly which position. They don't tell anything, really, which way around you're supposed to put the cables to. Nothing told about this stuff. I put the electric motor in place. Oh, this is a very pretty. It's also Kyosho Le Mans 15.5T. Real beauty. Okay, now everything is falling apart. Anyway, and then I put the gears inside here. Nothing special there. Again, I bought this. They recommended in the manual a gear which is like certain spare gear or gear there, and well, I bought it. I was like, okay, it's for the brushless motor. And then in the end, when I was looking at the instruction of that one, you would need to buy other gears as well to fit, and it was for certain case. I mean, it was so messy. I didn't understand half of it was when you're supposed to buy which, what is supposed to be. And I was thinking, okay, you can just put the spare gear here. No, you need to buy another metal gear, mash it with the documentation honestly sucks, really. It's really horrible. But well, I put it with the one that came with the package. I put the Servo. I got the according to Kyosho recommends the Perfects. Kyosho Perfects made Servo. Waterproof metal components, at least inside some sprockets. Yeah, I mean, I've used in some other robotic applications some really heavy duty servos made from metal and everything, but I know the limitations of this, but I think this should be fine in my use. This one's still not in place. I need to power up. I lost the stickers to put some of this in place, so I need to go get some tomorrow. Once I've done that, I can connect things, servos and so on, and the receiver, and calibrate this one to 0, and attach this one. So that one is done. I was hoping to put, sorry about this. Yeah, they are. These side guards. Well, I could buy online for like 70, 80 euros. Kyosho's originals from the time, but they mentioned they're for Optima, but they didn't say if it's for Turbo Optima. Not sure. Anyway, the carbon fiber plate is slightly different from the original plastic plate, also with the holes, slight differences. And when I bought this from Parco, I mean, they look nice. For once, they are the correct color. I bought some other golden components which are non-Kyosho, and they looked horrible. They didn't match the color, so I just put Kyosho original, more expensive ones in place in different certain stuff. I mean, like the hard support, it's not the same color as the rest of the color. Anyway, this one, but these holes don't really match very well. And there's supposed to be this part. I ended up having to buy the screws that came with these. Maybe they work with Optima or something, but they don't make any sense whatsoever. I have to bend this a bit to get this fitting. Again, people are like putting this on into their Kyoshos, making videos and stuff, but they don't anywhere take pictures. Where did they attach this? Okay, this one obviously goes there. This one, I guess, goes over there. But this one has a countersunk hole in it. One point of the countersunk is that it centers the screw and it's aligned perfectly. This one doesn't have a countersunk, and therefore it will suffer somewhat. And even the original, actually, I think some of the original Kyosho ones had countersunk holes in them, so they considered the design of the things. The same here. I think it's not supposed to be this one, it's supposed to be this hole. In the plastic one, this is not a countersunk hole, but in the other one, so this one is fine. In this one it is, I mean, it's not used for anything. There are some other holes which I don't any. There's also a question like, which is the ideal way to pull cables? I mean, maybe for more experienced RC people, it's obvious. I mean, I've done a massive amount of cabling of robots, all kind of machines, way more complex than this one. And some of the stuff here don't make, I mean, there's no, normally, you know, you design a device, cabling, you make instructions for it. You take the cable routes into condition regarding the noise level, what the RFI or inductive interference causes the ESC, and meaning the frequency converter effectively. And I mean, people call it ESC for whatever reason. And where you pull the cables, because the cables, they have a certain lifespan depending on how much they flex, how much they tend to a vibration. So all of this should be, I mean, it's standard engineering. But there's nothing in the documentation about this. I'm sorry, some of this electricity stuff, the documentation, everything, and how people describe them online, it's pretty much, I'm sorry, it's amateurish. So I'm just trying to figure out which would be the best way to pull. There's also stuff here which I like, they really didn't consider the electric side of it much. Just you pull somewhere, whatever, doesn't make much sense. The same is with like this height of the battery. I bought a battery, well, this one looks nice, single pack, LiPo. Supposed to fit there nicely. It's actually less than the width recommended on Kyosho website, but when you squeeze it there, the whole thing kind of lifts up a bit, this radio plate. So it means that the dimension isn't correct, what they say online. I mean, come on. This is nice and heavy, but from engineering wise, I don't understand kind of sloppiness like this. I'm really curious to buy some other RC cars and see. I mean, maybe when I was a child, I didn't care this much about stuff, or a teenager. I definitely wasn't an professional engineer, no, not professional, engineer in general. Didn't have the experience I have now, and I'm really struggling to. I mean, these ones look fine. They're a bit touch and go here. The suspension shocks, how close they call these parts. These holders here. Plastic. Why? There's a lot of metal parts here. Why put this? I don't. Doesn't make any sense. This one, yeah, nice. I mean, I get the feeling that some parts was designed by someone who, like, yes, best possible quality, I want to do it properly. Then some other parts was given to someone else to design, like, yeah, I'm going on holiday, just do whatever you want. There's a kind of inconsistency between, when you think about the design of any product, machine, whatever, there's an inconsistency in the design of different parts in this one. I would be really curious to know if the same is like, maybe I should get I don't know, Tamiya, or maybe I should get, like, people recommend Traxxas to see how it is. And the same is like the screws, which obviously look the same, have the same function, actually certain load-bearing functions here, for example, and they're different sized. Like 3mm, then there's 2.6. Why on earth? And it's supposed to be the same load-bearing function. Doesn't make any sense. It's the same. It's like they choose some screws or dimensions here which are like 1/10 of here, next one 1/10 of there. I really struggle to understand. I mean, it's a beautiful car. I mean, I really love putting it together. It's pretty. I truly enjoy this, but maybe I'm just being overly critical because of my background. But I mean, I like this ESC. It's chrome and, well, it's supposed to be chrome. I cleaned up the bottom surface. I'm thinking, okay, this should actually, because of heatsink, it should be against a metal surface. Well, there's no place to put it, but this is what they recommended. So I just stuck it there with a sticker, though it should be a thermal sticker, but then there should be something else here to. I guess maybe it doesn't just heat up that much that the carbon fiber cares about it. I did seal up the side when I had to file up some of these corners. I did reseal the edges that they don't go bad. Some of the screw threads are a bit, and some of the screws are a bit double in quality. I'm still waiting for the original servo. I wanted the Kyosho metal servo holders here for the servo, but yeah, it's been already for ages in order. Let's see if I will ever get it or not. I mean, this is the weird part. And of course, if you buy the Chinese stuff, I don't know. Like, for example, the servo saver here. Like these parts, there was some different screws that need to be put to these metal supports and these metal adhesion parts, like this one here. And they all came with these because they were expensive extras. Then I took the servo saver. Okay, I'm thinking there's everything. No, there isn't. There's one screw missing. And it needs to be attached to the servo. So it was the one I just had to improvise a screw there that would fit there and look, and use screw lock there to lock it tight. When I was a child and opened an RC car, any package or product, whatever, there was a particular smell in them, which I still remember to this date. And I was wondering, am I going to experience the smell of my childhood when I opened this package and did this one? All other components, plastic parts and so on, no. No smell whatsoever. Nothing of what I experienced as a child. I guess it's just to do with the plastics and part of the time that this packaging smells a certain way. What I would like to know, though, if someone knows, is that if you buy a kit of the time, for example, Turbo Optima, completely unopened, in original wrapping, plastic, whatever, and you open it now, is it going to smell the same? That would be interesting. I'm not going to try it out. They are so expensive, and seeing even with this re-engineered thing that the problems they have, I mean, I might have struggled with it as a kid. Yeah, this one, I tried to clean out the surface with some chemicals to make it stick better, and also the other side of the surface of this one to make sure it sticks there as well as possible, and it's easy to then to get rid of as well. And when I cleaned up the surface of the chrome surface, it started looking pretty bad. And I started wondering, is this really chrome or is it something else? Because it looked like it's starting to leave, or it deteriorated somewhat badly. From chemicals which I've used to clean chrome and nickel-plated bright surfaces, which were made 200 years, no, sorry, not 200. I'm getting a bit tired. 100 years ago in early 20th century, and they had no problem with it. This one did. So, I guess I'm a bit further now, a lot. I basically installed the receiver here, the servo is installed, and I centered the whole servo thing over there. There's the servo perfect recommended by Kyosho. The receiver is there, ESC is under there, antenna is there. So I did all of that. In addition, I had this from Parkustora, these side guards. I mean, I would guess that they have some addition of it, like protecting the battery. Well, anyway, I installed them. They required a little modification. I mean, bending a bit, and I had to find correct type of, because the old screws were not long enough. I wanted to have the strength, so I had to go to my screw storage and modify some screws to the correct length, and do some modifications to get them fit perfectly. Cabling, I use this kind of double-sided Scotch plus some, this is kind of a softer material. I used that to bind the cables going in different places so the battery can go here. I tried the steering a bit with my Optima controller. transmitter. What I noticed is that there's like a telling which hole is for servo, but then the hole for the servo is in the middle with the battery trays, and all they say in the instruction, avoid the cable going near the battery. How that possible? The instruction didn't make any sense. The same, okay, I placed this footable receiver here. There was the antenna. Okay, I looked at the instructions for the antenna stuff in there, but then where do I put the extra cable? And then there's again fast changing currents and so in the servo cables. They go near. Where do I put them here? Should I have looped them underneath? There was no space. I wish there would be, at least for a beginner, a bit more sensible wiring diagrams, since at least whenever I design something which has a lot of cable stuff in it, any machine device or equipment in general, I have to very accurately plan where all the cables go for minimizing noise introduced to other cables, radio transmit interference, etc. Then there's the cable which goes to the frequency converter, or the ESC as it's called. Basically, that one, there's a kind of position, or actually hole sensor, I believe, in this one. The cable goes from here to there. And is it disturbed by these signals? How much? Don't know. Am I supposed to pull a cable from underneath somehow there? Maybe I could, I don't know. I think all of these are definitely, I was thinking using this hole in the back, but no one seems to mention. Whenever I look pictures online, anyone who did this, no one ever shows it with the receiver, everything in place, motors, cables. I mean, some of the pictures I have, they're just with a chassis without electronics. And I'm like, oh, they have all the covers, and I have no idea what would be the optimal way of doing it. Because I need to next paint the driver and put it here. I guess I need to cut some holes behind it or something to fit everything underneath. I'm not sure. Is something obstructing this end so that I cannot really pull them through? But I mean, doesn't make any, it's really stupid would be to pull them through here. They would be hanging around the cables, all of the moving parts here. And if something would break here, it would break the cable and short circuit. And like this one here. The same connectors, tiny connector is in the other end. And you cannot, it doesn't lock in place. When the car is vibrating, bouncing back and forth. I mean, I lose lots of Loctite everywhere just to make sure. This one is just a superficial small connector, doesn't go any more down. I'm like, am I supposed to lock this? If you buy any kind of professional electric motors or stuff, which would be subjected to vibration, so on, well, let's put it this way, there's a method to lock this in place. Plus, there's all the connections are all quite badly made, crimped, basically. This, when someone talks about this cable, this is a Kyosho cable, but I recommend it. So, and the same with these motor power cables. Basically, okay, if they're going across this, at some point they have to go near each other because they're kind of on the same side. Logical would be to make this one on the other side or further away from this power connector. But no, they put them right next to it. And they cannot be shielded, they open like this. So if there's any electrical noise or problems with functioning, well, I can easily guess why. The designers who did this had no idea what they were doing. I hope it just isn't that much of a problem with this one. There's wider cables everywhere going around. And the same as I was wondering about this one. Underneath here is a protection, like a metal one, bottom plate against, no, the impact for this differential. In the rear, there's nothing under, it's just plastic. So if it's going to bottom out here, it's definitely going to. So, and about the adjustment of the suspension shocks, there was nothing really on the manual. The manual is lacking everything about any of this. I mean, I understand you can have different kind of electric motors, maybe if they're DC with 2 cables and so on, but it's still cables, the motor is here. Please, I mean, why it's so difficult to make any kind of instructions for this? Doesn't make any sense. And I mean, do people just drill holes here for pulling the cables neatly through and out? I don't know. I wish I knew, because no one seems to tell online when they, for newbies, old newbies like me, like, I don't remember how it was done. I don't remember, and I think generally I think I could just drill through, but there's a lot of objects going through. So they really didn't design whatever you design, a robot or any machine device, one important part of it is you design the cable harnesses, decide where cables and everything goes. And I don't remember, were they like this in the 1980s? I don't know. But there's some real audits. Why make this kind of connector? This is like, it's like destined to be broken very quickly. And then you make a motor so beautifully and so well like this, and you put a connector like this here. Why? Okay, maybe it's some standard for us. I noticed there's similar lookings everywhere, but doesn't make any, I don't know who had the idea of putting sensors like this. This connector. Oh, no point whatsoever. Okay, these are something I need to find out which way around you're supposed to solder them onto. I was thinking about using some nice connectors. I got myself these. But I realized, okay, it doesn't go through the holes, it will anyway be stuck, so I might as well just solder this directly there and then somehow cable time. And then hopefully I will get to try this tomorrow. And like this one, I screwed to a hole. I have no idea what this is for. These are for shorter battery, I believe. But there's still a lot of holes which I found in the model which don't seem to have any meaning whatsoever. I went through the manual a million times and there's nothing there. I mean, and I guess this isn't the most waterproof device in the world. So it's definitely not an all-weather drive. So I guess it's in dry grass and sand, dry, nice weather. Definitely not a waterproof device. Maybe, I mean, one could waterproof this somewhat by doing stuff. I guess, yeah, there's a lot of here which I could do to make this better regarding the moisture resistance. And I think I will at least do something regarding this motor. I have some stuff which I can use to cover this once I've soldered and protect these connections. It will not look so pretty, but at least it's protected somehow. I hope this is in. I think I was thinking if this would be more towards this way rotated, this motor, but there's a piece of metal there. You can't move it. Next index would be hitting that one. And I don't want to go down either, since I don't see any way to pull the cable through here. And since if it bottoms out, it wouldn't make any sense either. So to me, only if I understand correctly, the cover goes over this one. So the cable should be able to kind of go low against this one. Though as this one will be, yeah, this is rotating, so nothing should definitely touch that. And the same reason nothing should go through here. Maybe I'm just stupid. I mean, I tried to figure out if there is some connector inside there, no hole where I could pull this through up here and so on, but I couldn't find anything sensible. Since this plastic part goes all the way to the floor. Yeah, let's see. Next one, so I will solder this in place and drive it a bit like this. After that, I had a not so pleasant task of painting things. Let's see how that will work out. It's been a long time since I painted anything small. Okay, thank you.